It should be very easy to slide in. Lube is optional. What is good, beautiful people? Welcome back to another video. This is my 2017 BMW 330i Touring. I bought the car exactly a year ago. 2 weeks after I picked it up, I let my friend drive it and she accidentally crashed it. So in the past year, I've been slowly fixing it up and building it up. So far, I've done the true M3 front end swap. That includes the hood, the fenders, the headlights, the bumper, and that white body in the back. The car is looking good now, but it was sitting like this. So after some research, I decided to get a set of coilovers from ST Suspension, and I went with the XA model. For one, it has more adjustability than the entry-level X model, and for two, supposedly the XA model is the most street-friendly coilover comparing to Bilstein and other coilovers like BC Racing. And if anybody was wondering why I didn't go with the lowering springs, that's because my front left shock was leaking and both of the rear shocks were beyond toasted. So I had to change the shocks regardless. But unfortunately, ST Suspension does not offer coilovers for the facelifted 330i WAGON with a B48 in it. So I just decided to go with a sedan version with a part number 1822000R. Bro, I messed up. I thought I ordered the R and I just saw the notification. It says for 335, 340, and this is the S. Oh my God, I did so much research on which one I should order between the S and the R. Well, to put it in a simpler way, the S, which is this one, it is designed for cars with N55 and B58 engines. So the spring rate is a little higher. And then the R is designed for cars with, see, I saved this one too. I saved this one. For cars with N20 and B48 engines. Supposedly this model has softer springs. It's not gonna, jack up the front too high. But there is one way to make myself feel better about this, which is technically the wagon's axle weight is in between sedans, B48 sedans and B58 sedans. So you can actually go with either the 1822000S or R. And also, all of the other companies like Bilstein, BC Racing, they don't separate the 320, 330s and the 335, 340s. Like, all of the F30 and F31 xDrive chassis share the same exact part. So I don't have to worry too much about this. But this is still crazy. I spent so much time doing research about this, and I still bought the wrong thing. Oh my God. Now, before we get going, I'd like to address one more thing. BMW recommends you to replace all of the hardware that you remove during this process, which includes the front strut tower bolts, strut pinch bolts, sway bar end link nut, rear upper shock mount bolts, lower shock mount nuts and bolts, and camber arm nuts and bolts, because technically they're all torque to yield one-time use hardware. But many people do reuse them, including myself. And I believe that's why most of the tutorial articles and videos don't even mention this. I would recommend you to do some research online, make sure you understand why it's recommended to replace all of them or why you don't have to replace them. Because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your car, it's your life. As long as you're happy with it, you can sleep well at night, that's all that matters. I started from the rear because I thought it'd be easier, but no, the front is actually way easier. First, remove 4 10mm nuts and set the splash guard aside. Both sides are 18mm for the lower shock mount, and the bolt for the lower camber arm is E20, and the nut is 21mm. The shock bolt is fairly easy to remove, but I did spend a good minute or two on the camber arm bolt. Here I was using a hammer and a thick punch to gently tap out the bolt, and once it went into the camber arm, I could just jack up the other side of the arm and carefully thread it out.
Once you remove 3E12 top mounting bolts, then you should be able to remove the shock. Do not throw it away yet because we're reusing the top hat. Now open up the beautiful package. The bottom spring seat and the center spring seat is usually hidden somewhere in the box. Find them out. Bottom perch first, then the helper spring seat, main spring, and then the adjustable top perch in this exact order. Do not get creative over here. Now I am cutting up some double-sided tape to prevent the whole perch from spinning when you're adjusting the ride height. I would honestly apply some RTV here just to give it some more grip. Use a hammer to remove the top spring isolator, use a metal cup, and give it a good wipe before you stick the top perch to it. And then wipe down the camera arm first to remove all of the rock and dirt so you don't have to deal with the weird noise in the future. Now bottom perch first, give it a twist, make sure it's seated tightly in the groove, and then you just push the camera arm down to pop the spring in. Don't mind the siren, I live close to the firehouse. Gently remove the plastic cap and the paper gasket. Depending on our gasket's condition, you might want to replace it, especially if you're from somewhere that rains and snows a lot. Get a 16mm pass-through socket and wrench. Use a 5mm hex as a counter hold. You can try to use an impact here. You might not even need a counter hold at this point. Remove the original bump stop because the SD suspension comes with one. The shock comes with 2 top hat nuts on each side. I consider it as a double nut method, but if any of y'all know the exact reason, please comment below and let me know. Over here I was so out of frame, but I used a dual direction torque wrench to torque the counter hold down to 20 Nm or 15 foot-pounds. Now, this torque value is different from stock. This might only apply to ST suspension or KW suspension, so double check your instruction manual if you had something else. Here I did not film it, but before the day of filming, I actually adjusted the rebound for both of the shocks. I set it to the center, which is at the 8th click for my shock. This is always a good baseline to start with no matter what coilover you're installing. The only downside about this type of coilover is you will have to remove the rear wheel and the rear top shock bolts every time in order to adjust it. It's fairly easy to put everything back on. Just utilize your jack if the camera arm doesn't want to comply. Here I didn't film it because the position I had to be in was really ugly. But anyways, you need to torque the camera arm down at right height, otherwise your bushing will wear out prematurely. Torque 3 E12 upper shock bolts to 28 Nm or 20.7 foot-pounds. Torque the 18mm lower shock bolt and nut to 100 Nm or 74 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. Torque the E20 outer camber arm bolt to 165 Nm or 122 foot-pounds. These are the stretch bolts I was talking about. You are supposed to replace them every time you loosen them up.
Ugh.
Same as the rear, jack up the front from the center jack point so you can remove the sway bar end link.
This is long overdue. Yeah, don't worry about the spider webs. It's just been parking for too long. But this, man, oh my god. Yeah, this has to go.
Consider using a T30 counter if the whole thing starts to spin. ST suspension comes with a new nut, but you need to replace yours if your kit does not. Remove the front strut pinch bolt using a 16mm socket. Here I got lucky as well, I only held it with my fingers, but the bolt is 18mm if you need a counter hold. You should also replace this bolt and nut as well. A 6 or 7mm Allen key should work perfectly here. The passenger side spindle just fell off right after I turned the Allen key, but here I needed to use a punch and a hammer to gently tap it out and then just give it a final push. I left 2 bolts loosely on there so the shock doesn't fall right off and hit my carbon fender. Once it's out of the spindle housing, you should be able to hold it with one hand and loosen the 2 shock bolts with the other hand.
Bruh, I totally forgot to film this.
But in short, I just grabbed 2 spring compressor spring, and then get an 18mm socket just to zap the nut out. Also gotta keep this top portion of the dust boot, but as you can see, mine is already falling apart, so I just took that off. If you don't have an impact gun, you can use a counter hold. It's a 6mm counter hold. Use an 18mm pass-through socket to get the nut out. But with the SD suspension coilovers, it comes with a nut, so you don't have to use this one. Now you can discard the whole thing, even the bump stop, because the SD suspension coilovers comes with its own bump stop. You don't need this one. Speaking of this dust boot, I happen to have a few pairs of sheet metal scissors, so I'm just gonna trim it to the length that I want. Like that. Now get your beautiful SD suspension coilover. I've already put the other side together, so I'm gonna use this one to show you guys. Now let's cut back to the voiceover. Lower the spring perch to where you can install the top hat without compressing the spring. Reuse the top portion of your stock dust boot and twist it into place. Use a 19mm pass-through socket for the nut and a 9mm deep socket for the piston rod, and torque it to 40 Nm or 29 foot-pounds. Again, if your coilovers aren't SD or KW, make sure to check with the manufacturer because the stock number is 64 Nm or 47 foot-pounds. And then adjust your damping. Make sure they're both in the middle of your adjustment range as a baseline. Make sure both springs are at the same length. Thread in 2 bolts to hold the shock in place while allowing it to pivot. Adjust the shock to align the pin with the slots on the metal insert and the spindle housing. It should be very easy to slide in. Lube is optional. Now you see the L on the shock body, it means this is for the left side. The kit comes with a new sway bar end link nut. Torque it down to 56 Nm or 41 foot-pounds. Jack up the spindle until the shock body hits the bottom of the spindle housing. Remove the sprinter spreader tools. Replace the nut and bolt and torque it down to 44 Newton-meter. Oh my god. Cut. Remove the spindle spreader tool or the Allen key. Replace the nut and bolts and torque it down to 44 Newton-meter or 32 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. Lock the spring perch with the rebound adjustment knob. If you lost it, SD sells it separately. Jack up the spindle furthermore and tighten the strut bolts. If your bolts are M8, torque them down to 30 Newton-meter or 22 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. If they're M10, torque them to 56 Newton-meter or 41 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. And torque the strut brace bolt to 56 Newton-meter or 41 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. And as you can tell, these are torqued to Yale bolts as well, so replace them if you may. And there you go, the installation is completed, but the car was sitting like this. The front is a little too high and the rear is a little too low. That's well expected though, because I only have a B48, which is lighter, and I have about 3 inches left on the spring perch in the rear. So in the next video, I'm gonna show you guys how I adjusted the coilovers. But as for now, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.